Hello, and welcome to episode 15 of
The Eldritch Podblast.
I am Margaret.
I am Jack.
And hello. Welcome to episode
15.
15. We know it's 15 today because we have discussed it prior.
Yes, we have.
And I mean, it is literally episode 15.
Yeah.
So we're not lying.
No. That's canon.
It's canon. It's episode 15,
canon.
yeah.
In the world of the Eldritch Podblast.
Podblast. No.
It's not a good start.
The Podblast.
The Podblast.
No.
The Eldritch... I was about to say Plodblast.
That's what I said at the end of last episode.
In the world of the Eldritch Podblast.
I was expecting
It
something
is
else.
episode 15 is canon.
It is. So yes, welcome. Thank you for being here. How is everyone? How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Good. I am good. I just want to say now, there's a chance that you guys might see a few more cuts and a few more jumps in this episode because we have a doggy that isn't very well.
Yes.
And he's very bothered. So
He's an English Bull Terrier.
yeah.
And they're inherently itchy skinned dogs. We've had his allergy tests done and
allergic to everything.
meat, fish,
allergic to himself.
grass,
Dust.
dust, everything. He's allergic to everything. So sometimes it flares up a little bit more. He's going to the vet this afternoon, and
yeah. So
sometimes we just got to get him on some like itchy meds.
mm-hmm.
He'll be fine.
To be honest, if you ever see any cuts in the episode, it's literally because
It's for the dog.
It's because of the dog.
It's for the dog.
So I'm sorry now if that's all you're going to notice going forward.
Yes.
But hopefully not.
Just know that it's for the dog.
Yes, it's always for the dog. Didn't I do it for you? Didn't I do it for you? Bully. So, yes, there's a few things
Yeah.
I would like to update the people on. First of all, is there anything you want to update the people on?
Yeah, there's one thing that
There is one thing.
I just want to give you a quick update.
Go on.
Razageth,
Oh,
the Storm Eater,
yep.
heroic difficulty.
She's slain.
She's slain.
We slain her.
Slew.
We slew her. We
Slew
slew
and-
her where she stood.
Well, yeah, or where she flies.
Or where she flies. Or where she, just exists in
She's
a horrible
down.
little hovel.
She's down.
She's down.
Thank
We
God.
did it. I don't even think it was that many pulls really this time around till we got her down.
I think it was 3
Yeah.
or 4 pulls.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
If you don't play World of Warcraft, you have no
You won't
idea
have a
what
clue.
we're talking about
But
right
we
now.
got to phase 3 with everyone alive, and then that was over.
Well, listen.
It was over.
He says
I don't know what you're
everyone
talking
alive.
about. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I was the only one
She wasn't dead going into phase 3.
when
but
the
problem
actual when it actually happened.
yeah,
So-
you're the only one dead when it actually happened. But the problem is Margaret plays a hunter,
Yeah.
and hunters have no defensives and not much health, and they're not very good at surviving.
Yeah. But you know
And
what? I'm just happy she's down.
Razageth is a very high damage fight. But yeah,
Yes.
she's down. So
She is
cheers,
down.
everyone.
Cheers.
This one's to dead Razageth.
This one's to not Razageth.
Yeah,
this
this
isn't
one's to
anyone
anyone
but
but
Razageth.
Razageth.
This one's to Khadgar.
Yeah.
There.
Oh yeah, Khadgar.
Mm-hmm. Ah, refreshing.
Oh yeah.
I hope-
Sweet blood of the dragon.
Oh, yeah. Hope you all took your sip of the blood of the dragon today. So, anything else?
From me, no, I don't think so.
Well,
I haven't really done much else.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't done much else either, but I would like to show everyone this piece of commissioned artwork I
Yeah.
got for my druid Rayla
Yeah.
in her wolf form, which is like her main combat form, because
Yeah.
she's a moon druid. I will put up...
What?
No, she's a
I don't
druid
think
of the-
I don't think
I
you've
don't-
let the viewers of this
No,
podcast know
I don't
that
think-
you're a moon druid.
I don't think anyone
I don't
knows.
think you've ever mentioned that.
Well, because I've never mentioned it before, I play a moon druid.
Yes, she does.
And this, I'll put a picture up.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Here. Yeah.
I'll put a picture up here. And
Yes.
this is my girl, and she is perfect. She is exactly what I wanted.
Is this the wolf one?
This is the wolf one,
Yeah.
yeah. So I got this commissioned by Momo Art from Twitter. I'll link his Twitter and everything down below.
Momo art. Good
Momo
name.
Art, but yes, she's exactly how I envisioned her. Perfect. She's just this big, nasty, feral beast, and it's perfect.
I like the wrinkly nose.
Yeah.
I know that you're all, I'm not looking at it right now, but there's one thing I look at it and then it's like that snarling wolf.
Yeah.
The wrinkly nose.
Yeah, she's perfect. And just so you guys can have a look at like her elf form,
Yeah.
here is a picture of another commission I got of her elf form. And
Was it
this,
by the same person?
No, this is by someone called Fuji Apples on Fiverr. I will
Fuji
once again
Apples.
link
Also a
everything
cool name.
in the description below. So that's my girl. And
Rayla Moon Dancer.
Rayla Moon Dancer, and I couldn't be happier with them. Honestly, I love getting commissions of my D&D characters.
You do.
That's just who I am.
You had a few of Willow as well.
I did. I even
Her
had a
other
few
druid.
Beloved. My
The druid in the last campaign.
my previous druid, and I'm sure I'll get commissions of my future druid. So
apparently you're not playing a druid the next one.
no.
Apparently you're playing a monk.
I think I'm going to play a monk in the next one. A monk or a ranger. It's undecided.
Monk and ranger, two very cool.
But let's just get this druid through whatever she's going through now, shall we?
Yeah, she's got a lot going on.
Yeah. And I'm also the type of person who I like a lot of physical stuff. So I basically print out a sheet that has like pictures of my character on it, and it has all of their abilities, like her wild shapes, and it has like her magic items and spell slots. I'll put hey, this is a heavy picture, so listen, open your eyes.
Yeah.
Get them eyes peeled. And this is a
Make
picture.
sure you crank that quality up to like 1080p or whatever it is.
You probably can't see anything from over there. And it's
Where are you gonna put it? You're gonna put it here?
I'll put it I was actually thinking of putting it here.
Down there. Alright, okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna be right.
Alright, sweet.
So yes.
Like we're gonna be doing all that pointing and then it's just gonna be massive.
You're
not even gonna be able to see us.
You won't be able to see the hands at all. Yeah. Well, that actually really nicely, you see what I did here, leads us on to the next thing I wanted to talk about.
Go on.
So for yous, well, I mean,
for yous out there watching the Eldritch Podblast.
We love yous. For you guys who don't know, we also own a small business on Etsy called Hellbound Dice, and we don't sell dice.
Not yet. That was the plan originally.
Yeah.
We made it to make dice, and then we were like, right, well, we'll do everything else first, get all the groundwork done while we like learn how to make dice.
And now it's like 2 years later.
And now it's 2 years later, and every single time that we've gotten close.
So hard. If any of you guys are dice makers watching this, you know we bought the 3D printer.
Yeah.
We got all the silicone for the mold.
Yeah.
We got the we got everything.
We did it all pressure pot.
Fell at the first hurdle. Don't understand the 3D printer.
Yeah.
So.
And like we are small business owners, and we do the podcast now. And we have like other things going on in our lives. So we haven't had a huge amount of time to commit to learning it. And it's a lot to learn. It's going to be Margaret that probably learns the 3D printer, because if I try to get my hands on that 3D printer, I think I might end the world if I attempted to fuck with that printer.
And we will take no more further comment on that at this time.
I don't think anyone would want to see me try and tackle a 3D printer.
Oh, so
the laptop's hard enough.
Yes. So anyway, yes, we own a small business and we sell a whole bunch of D&D stuff, and we got our first order through that we are aware of from a viewer of the podcast.
Yeah.
Which, listen, you guys just being here
and watching
and watching and subscribing and commenting and liking,
all that stuff that you do already is
more than enough. You do not need to do anything else. But Sam, her name is Sam, she placed an order and she left a very nice note saying, me and my DM, we watched the podcast. I thought I would buy them a gift and myself, and it was just nice to be able to support you and be able to get something back for it.
It's very, very, very nice.
It is.
And we appreciate it a lot.
Sam, thank you. And I messaged Sam and I just said, hey, if this is a present and you both watch the podcast, how about we just do a little sneaky preview,
do a little sneaky shout out
for the recipient. So Harry, if you're listening, this is for you.
Yeah.
From Sam. Oh no!
Oh
God, I'm having a disaster.
Oh no! You're making it worse.
Harry, I'm sorry. Sam, I'm sorry. So
it's a nice, smooth shout out.
I don't know if you can see it from here. If not, I will put it up on the screen as well. Yeah. This is a notebook for you, Harrison, and it's got your name on it. It's personalised with your name in green foil. And once again, this is from Sam. Mm-hmm. Sam also got herself a notebook as well with what I can assume is her character name on it. And
was it Verilith?
Yes, it. Right.
Say the second name.
Verilith Amasia. Listen.
Let me have a look.
I'm sorry, Sam. You're probably absolutely white knuckling it.
Amastasia. As soon as I said it, it sounded wrong.
So sorry. It was never meant to turn into this. But
yeah, thank you so much.
Honestly, thank you. and I hope you love them.
Yeah.
And hey, if anyone else listening, again, we want to stress you don't have to do this.
No, you don't have to do this.
If you like some of the stuff we sell in the shop, those, for example, were personalized notebooks we made. They're catered inside to be for character sheets and D&D and note taking and quest logging. If there's anything you like on the shop, please, yes, place an order if you like to, and let us know. Let us know that you came from the podcast.
That is a direct way to, at this very moment in time, while the podcast is very small, is a direct way to support us.
Yeah,
so
until we get stuff like merch.
Oh. We do sell T-shirts on there.
We do sell
We
T-shirts.
sell mugs and badges and
all
stickers
sorts of
and
stuff.
greetings cards and all sorts. So yeah, if you did want to, just know that is our shop.
Yes, it is.
Run by me and Margaret alone.
It is our nasty little hands touching your stuff.
Yeah.
So
all over your stuff.
Yeah,
all over your
it.
shit.
Breathing on it.
Yeah, looking at it.
Yeah,
with
looking
my
at
eyes.
it, perceiving it.
Yeah.
So Sam, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to literally package these up after the podcast and post them. So they're going to be on their way to you.
Nice.
Shortly. I'm just going to quickly sort this mic out.
No, wrong with it.
I manhandled it a little bit. I can't lie. Oh God, I'm sorry.
You're all right. You're all right.
You guys are probably hearing literal demons right now. Okay. One more thing.
Last thing.
There was actually another thing. I can't remember. I forgot it. I told myself last night I needed to talk about it. Can't remember. But
good. Now that everyone knows that.
Now that everyone knows that I have
something.
literally zero minus brain cells. I wanted to say thank you all very much for responding to the poll we put up the other day.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch it, it was episode 13. We basically we went through your submissions. Thank you.
The what?
No, skip past it.
The what, sorry?
Submissions.
Snubmissions.
I
don't know. Submissions.
We went through your submissions and we basically had too much content, and halfway through filming we were like, this is going to get really long.
Yeah, because we hadn't even started the Am I the Assholes.
Yeah.
And we were over an hour long.
Yeah. So we posed the question, would you guys be okay sometimes if we have a situation like that where we go over?
Yeah.
Would you prefer us to either continue and have maybe like a 2+ hour long episode, or would you be okay with us just splitting them up?
Yeah.
We asked it at the end of the video. We asked it in a poll, and I can't believe how. First of all, at the time of reading this, there's 70 results, and 84% of people said they don't mind, which really, really surprised me.
I don't know. And when we were getting the submissions, when we were getting the poll back, people were like, oh yeah, and people were commenting saying, oh yeah, we'd really like it, but don't do it, like if it's going to be too much for you.
Oh yeah.
Just so you know, like we plan, we try not to talk about the topics too much with each other before, because we want to, have a real conversation. We have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
So like when we do talk about the topics, they just go on for as long as they go on for.
Yeah.
They're not like planned to go like super long.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's a topic and we'll be like really concise and we'll be like, oh yeah,
we'll
this
get
is
through
it.
it really quickly, yeah.
But sometimes
like that, when it's things we're reacting to, like your submissions, because we really care about your submissions, and that's not to say we don't care about anything else, but you guys are our viewers, and we care about
only the submissions.
No one. We only care about you.
We don't even care about each other.
No, it's you and you only. But yeah, we want to be extra diligent when it comes to the people in our community.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, thank you all very much for.
So from now on, if we fucking ramble on, and we get super far in, we haven't even gone to the second
we
topic,
know that we can just keep
we'll
going.
Just keep going.
Thank you. That takes a lot of pressure off of us. Yeah. And like Jack said, it's not going to be all the time. It really is just going to be in situations where we just maybe had a little bit too much, and we don't want to split it up.
Yeah.
And thank you all very much for the incredibly kind comments.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. We really appreciate it.
We do.
So that just about finishes everything I wanted to ramble on about for about 15 minutes there.
Yeah. Sorry.
It
doesn't matter now because we can just do it. We can go for as long as we want.
Yeah.
Because everyone's
you guys are stuck with us.
Just give me all the content.
This is it. You are actually never leaving.
Yeah.
This is the end.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It's actually the beginning.
It is.
17 minutes in.
There's no end.
18 minutes in now.
Okay, so.
What are we talking about today, Margaret?
Today, we would like to talk about things you should go over in your session 0. Now, this was something...
I didn't know that.
Shocked Pikachu. This was something that was actually, because we have a submission... Don't take a shot. Don't take a shot every single time I say submission form. But it was one of the most requested topic of conversation requests.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that have gravitated, like, we love every single person who watches this podcast.
Well, it's only you, actually.
Every single person.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot of new viewers have began to find us on TikTok or on YouTube.
Yeah, thank you.
And, we have covered a lot of Session 0 topics, and we've covered a lot of, like, players going into Session 1 topics. But what we thought we'd do is we'd just condense it down, cover everything in this.
So then...
if anyone's ever like, I'm starting a new thingy, I'm starting a new campaign, like, where should I go?
So going forward, we can just point you to this.
We can do the thing where we go up there, click up there.
Yeah. Well, actually, saying that, we will do that right now because we will actually link to. So we've done a world building and a session prepping episode.
Yeah, we've done a world building one for DMs.
Yep.
And we've done a Session 1 prep for a player.
Yes, and actually... I think one of the first videos we did was about what makes a good D&D group, and that actually goes over quite a few of the things we're going to talk about here. So we'll link all of them.
All of it, every single one of those videos.
All of them will be linked. But yes, this is a condensed version.
Yeah, this is going to be you're about to have a Session 0.
Yep.
What can you expect? What should you do?
Yeah.
To have a successful Session 0.
Indeed.
Because you could turn up to a Session 0 and be like, oh, what are you playing? Oh, I'm playing a paladin. What are you playing? I'm playing a cleric. All right, sound.
And as long as you're all happy with that, that's a successful Session 0.
Do whatever you want in the Session 0. But if you wanted to have a thorough Session 0 to make sure that you're going to be happy coming out the end of it before you go into the campaign, we'll cover everything here.
Yeah, and this is not an exhaustive list. No, this is. No, this isn't. This isn't.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
Even if you just take one thing away from here, and even if you don't take anything away from here,
as long as you're just enjoying our talking.
Which apparently you do, because you've listened to us talk for 2+ hours, which is wild.
Yeah.
So, shall we go over as the DM?
Oh my goodness. Where should the DM begin, Margaret?
So, we've got some notes here.
Yeah.
And the first thing that we would recommend for a DM going into a Session 0 is be able to give your players a world primer.
Yes.
And if it's not a world primer, just give them like the vibe. Have something prepped to let them know what the world is going to be like, what the setting's going to be like, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page with that.
Yeah, because I think when you turn up to Session 0, you play if people if your players know that they're going into a campaign, trust me, they've got a million ideas whirling around in their heads about what they want to play, what the backstory is, and stuff like that. So if you can turn up to Session 0 and give them like, this is the name, this is the state of the world, this is the vibe, then all of those ideas that your players have begin to just like organize themselves in their brains.
Yes, yeah. And when I say world primer, it could literally be
a handful of lines.
Yeah, I mean, the world primer that I did, and I think the world primer that you did, we kind of wrote out like an introduction to the world. And
I didn't write one out.
Oh, did you not write one out?
No, just freeballed it.
Could never be me. When I did the world primer, I wrote out kind of before and now and past, now and
oh no, a past, present, and future. Not a future. You can't tell the future.
Well. No, yeah. But it could literally be you just telling them maybe what type of setting it's in.
What time? Like what the year is.
Yeah. Is it going to be high fantasy?
Has something just happened? Has something like just happened, and that's, sort of like why the campaign's happening.
Yeah, maybe there's like a main crux of your campaign that's going to be something that's really important to everyone. And I think that will really help your players get a good understanding, because there might be things, we use this example all the time, but if you're doing something like a high fantasy setting, maybe something like a gunslinger maybe wouldn't fit into your world.
The one that's always, guns are obviously quite a divisive thing in D&D. Some people hate guns, some people love guns. Like if you're doing like a steampunky sort of thing, then that's gonna fit. But one thing that a lot of people, if you want to come into a campaign and play a Warforged, like Warforged don't exist in my world. Yeah. So when I gave my world primer, anyone who was thinking, all right, I'm going to be a Warforged, can immediately go, okay, I think of something else. Because they don't exist. Yeah. Like for my world primer, I think all I said was, it's a Norse-themed campaign. So, like, it's set in Midgard. Yeah. This is just a brief sort of, like, overview, I said. It was in Midgard. Yep. The seasons have come and passed, and winter came, and winter didn't go. and everyone sort of knew that meant they were in the Fimbulwinter.
Yeah.
So people like hunkered down and tried to get through it, and everybody sort of knew what was on the other side of the Fimbulwinter,
Which was what?
which was Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
So the end of the world, in whatever capacity that meant.
Yep.
But the Fimbulwinter ended. The snow began to melt away.
Yeah. Ragnarok didn't happen.
And Ragnarok didn't happen.
Yeah.
And that sort of, there was a little bit more detail than that, but that sort of let my players be like, okay, so I've just been through a Fimbulwinter.
Big world event.
Yeah.
That for some reason hasn't happened, and that is, I think, for all of us, really shaped actually how our characters went into it.
Like I said that, and I was like, let them do that. Every single one of them was like, oh yeah, in the Fimbulwinter I was doing this, and in the Fimbulwinter this happened to me, and I was like, and then they started to just like write most of the campaign from that. Like but it let you get a theme like of what you can expect from the campaign, and sort of something that you've all commonly been through.
Yeah, and I think that helped us. Listen, session 1 is scary.
No matter everyone.
How long you've played D&D for, getting the party together is scary. But it gave all of us a common thread. It gave all of us something that we could immediately relate to.
Yeah, all
regardless
of
what our experiences were.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that really helped, and that helped all of us creating our character. I mean, I can only speak for myself, of course. It really helped me with my character. And you also set the expectation that magic is still very primitive.
Yeah, well, it's not that magic's primitive. Like, a fair few people have magic. Ooh.
Oh,
our light flickered.
Did you just see that? Oh my goodness gracious!
Look like Margaret just got shot.
See, that's the end. Live on camera, folks. I'm sweating after that.
Oh no,
I'm lightheaded.
What was it saying?
We were saying about magic.
Oh
and
yeah,
I said how magic.
But yeah, like I like to always state magic and like the state of magic. In my first campaign, like nobody had magic. Like magic was a really rare thing, and there was a reason for it, and that helps people sort of. How do they interact? They don't just go into a shop and start making minor illusions. They know that people
will be shocked by it.
Quite shocked by it.
Yeah.
In this campaign, it was like magic is more. What's the word? Paganistic.
Yeah, it's more like shamans.
Yeah, it's a lot more like primal magic, those sorts of things. There's like two paths of magic. Even the wizards, use sacrifices and like rituals like that to go through some like high level spells.
Yeah, there's like a huge focus on like blood magic and it's and to be honest, that tied really closely in with one of our characters, our players as well.
I think a few of your characters, Abby and Josh, both.
Yeah.
Even you, like
Yeah,
it's like the way you theme your spells. It's not like the wizard just gets out the spell book and starts to like draw like sigils and stuff like that. It's a little bit more like like pagan-y. I don't know why I keep saying the word pagans, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it's most akin to. And to be honest, even hearing that made me theme. Hey lads, I play a druid.
Yeah, moon druid.
I play moon druid. In case you didn't know, in case you hadn't heard, and I played a druid.
Yeah.
In the last campaign too. I love druids, and the way I themed the magic for both of my druids, they had the same type of magic, is very, very different.
Yeah.
Just based on that, and it will help your players in the long term and in the immediate form an idea of their character and
where they're from, how they do things, like the experiences that they've had in their worlds. Like when I was like Norse, everyone sort of came to me with like very good themed ideas, like straight away. So I think that is super important. If you haven't got anything for session 0, but I'm going to be honest with you here, if you haven't got a world primer or a world setting for session 0, I would consider actually pushing it back.
Yeah, I would consider just have something. It doesn't have to be, like I said, it doesn't have to be a Word document like what I typed out. No, it doesn't have to be
thousands of lines or thousands of words.
I mean, Jack just gave you the examples there. It's Norse themed. The Ragnarok didn't happen.
Hasn't happened
for whatever reason, and magic is still very primal. And that was enough for all of us. Again, I could speak for myself only. That was enough for me to get a really good grasp on what we were going into, what to expect, and how to theme my character.
Yeah.
And I think, and that helped you And that will help your players too. So
Yeah.
just think about
Definitely, if you're a DM, have a world primer for session 1, just so you can fill your players in with what the sort of general crack is with the world.
Simple things. Think of the setting. Is it high fantasy? Is it sci-fi? Is it modern?
Yeah.
Think about things like what the players would know.
Yeah.
Think about the world history. Think about the current politics. Has there been events that had happened?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be. It can be however you want to do it, but it's important to have it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Just on that point there, I think a world primer can definitely, like, what would your players know? Like, what would they know
about the world they
live in? So those sorts of things, like the Fimbulwinter, everyone knew about it because it was something that every single person went through.
Yeah.
You know, different parts of the world will know slightly different things about, you know, like your character to Abby's character to Josh's character to Matthew's character. You'll all know different things about the world because you're all from different places.
Yes.
But what are those things that they all know?
Think about the world we live in now. I know it sucks and it's a horrible place.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's things that I know that you will know.
Yeah, just because we live in the same world.
Exactly.
So it's just think about those sorts of things.
We live in these nasty flesh sacks on this
sad flesh
terrible, torrid earth.
What's next?
So, the next thing that we would like to talk about is stats.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
It's homebrew or module.
Oh.
Oh, we did you say no? We've just gone through all of that.
We've just gone through all of that.
We didn't go through homebrew rules.
No,
I'm talking.
Okay.
See, this is I say to Margaret every time. This is why I shouldn't have the notes because I get myself all confused.
So you know what? In your defence, it's formatted a bit strangely. So basically, how it goes.
They don't need to know how it's formatted. They don't need to know how it's formatted.
So, do you understand why we're on to stats now?
I understand why we're on stats. So Margaret,
we will get onto homebrew rules.
Margaret, just to let you know, the next section is stats.
Thank you. I thought we were going to talk about homebrew rules next. So thank you.
No, stats.
Stats. You know what? It's as simple as how are you doing them?
How are you doing them?
How are you doing stats?
How are you doing them? Talk to your players about you know, how are you doing them? How they've done them before? Because a lot of people. Like we've had quite a few conversations recently about stats on TikTok and on YouTube.
Yeah.
And every single person seems to do it differently.
Oh yeah.
There's a million different ways to calculate stats.
There are so many different ways to do it.
You can calculate stats point by, standard array, adjusted standard array, rolling, and then all of the rolling can encompass everything. People like to have a total that you don't go underneath.
Yes, exactly.
People like to I can't. My mind's racing with all of the different things that you can do.
Yeah, there is a lot of different ways, and we won't necessarily cover all of the different ways and go into depth of them. But find out how you would like to do stats.
Yeah, find out how everyone's done it before, because one thing that does, I think, divide a lot of people, even with like if Matthew used to run a campaign, he wouldn't roll stats. He'd use point by.
Yes,
and
or standard array. Yeah,
I think he loves point by. Is his favorite. And then if I do it, I hate point by personally.
Yeah,
I'll use it if Matthew wants me to use it because I don't mind. You know, it's up to each person. But every single person does it differently.
Yes.
And everyone has a different view on why one is good and one is bad.
Yes.
So I think it's good to just like talk to each other about how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And why you're doing it.
Yes, I think you made a good point there. You just said you hate doing point by.
Personally, yeah.
However, if you went into a campaign and the DM said we're doing point by, I'm sure you would just go along with it.
Yeah, I hate making my players use point by.
Yeah.
But you know, if somebody wants to use point by, fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. And I think that's the most important thing to find. You can understand that sometimes your players might not want to do it that way, but they also probably will be more than happy to do it because you want to do it.
Of course. You know, it's up to the DM. Like how I don't know what you've got going on, and I don't know all of the crazy magic items you might give us, and you know that might adjust the stats and things like that.
Exactly. But and for example, you always roll for stats. When I DM'd short stint, I used a buff standard array.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to listen. Okay, I can't count. Simple as that.
The buffed standard array, I think, is really good.
Yeah, I wanted to do the buff standard array just because I wanted, for a first-time DM, it was simpler for me. I didn't want to give you standard array because, in my opinion, standard array is quite low. It is on the lower
side.
It's
underpowered.
But I understand why it's like that. And I didn't want to do with rolling because I didn't want to have to work out the number.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
bus standard array was the way that I went.
And I know people have asked me why I don't like point buy, and I'll just say it now,
Mm-hmm.
so everyone, because you have two different types of people in this world.
Mm-hmm.
You have someone like me, who will have 3 15s and 3 8s,
and me.
yeah,
That's
and,
also
and
me
then there's
as well.
people who are far more disciplined
Yes.
and will spread them out quite nicely.
Exactly.
But to me, I'm like, well, I just want 3 grit stats.
I'm
terrible.
exactly the same.
Don't
I'm exactly
come for
the
me,
same. I know.
because I know I'm
It's
terrible.
awful. It's
Do you
terrible.
know what
I
else?
know.
Somebody had a cool one the other day. It just shows you how amazing like the D&D community is, because of how smart people are. I'd never thought to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know that when you get to the top numbers in point buy, when you buy one point in a stat,
Okay.
it ends up costing 2.
Yes.
Someone's like, I just do point buy with the same numbers, but every stat costs 1.
Oh, fair enough.
And I was like,
That changes it completely.
that changes
then,
it completely.
Doesn't it?
I was like, I might actually look at doing that.
Nice. That's
'cause
nice.
That sounds
Yeah,
really
that
cool.
changes it totally.
But yeah, there's hundreds and hundreds of different ways. So
Yeah.
if you come into the session 0 and you don't know how, talk to each other, find out what you fancy.
Yeah.
And just have a little look online, because there's so many awesome ways.
Definitely. And there's a high chance that, again, DMs, if you're listening, and this is to you, if you want to do it a certain way, your players will almost certainly be okay with it.
Yeah.
But just run it past them first.
Yeah, and and I've said it before, like I roll stats, and basically I end up whatever all 4 of them will roll, and then the person who rolls the highest stat, so Matthew rolled an 18.
Yeah.
I gave you all that 18, and then the rest of the stats fell where they fell.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to balance things out a little bit if someone's got dog shit stats.
Yeah,
because playing a character with dog shit stats for some people isn't fun.
Yes, absolutely. And that really nicely, it's like you read the notes, Jack. That really nicely.
Well, I didn't, so don't.
That really nicely takes us on to the next point we wanted to make about stats is, if you are rolling stats, of course there's going to be variation. That's the point of rolling stats.
Yeah.
Do not be afraid to change them if it means more player enjoyment.
Yeah.
Or if it means everyone ends up being more balanced and it's easier for you.
Yeah.
We have heard so many horror stories of people being like, geez, someone commented on our TikTok. It was about his wife. He said his wife, she didn't roll anything higher than an 8 for her stats, and the DM wouldn't let her change any of them.
What's the point in playing?
What's the point in playing? Yeah, I agree.
Somebody commented on one of our TikToks saying the one where we were like, that person had like 1 + 1 and everything else was less than 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's like Robin. And everyone was like, no, because Robin's actually quite capable. That's the janitor from the Justice League.
Janitor from the Justice League. And who wants to play the janitor from the Justice League? So do not be afraid to change your stats around.
Yeah.
Make people aware that you're going to change them around.
Yeah.
But
I don't think anybody at your table, if they roll low and you're like, oh, I'm just going to bump that up a little bit, I don't think anyone's going to turn to you and be like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. And I grappled with this when I first DM'd, and when I was going to roll, I didn't in the end, was, well, what's the point in rolling if I'm going to change the stats anyway? The point in doing that is to make sure everyone has a good time. So don't feel...
And it's variation. Like Josh has a 6.
Yes, he does.
Josh has a 6 in his strength.
Yeah.
And he's built that into his story, and that's become a massive part of his character.
It's hilarious, first of all.
All of his other stats are great.
Yeah.
He's got like a massive constitution score and a massive charisma score because he's a sorcerer. And he's still got a couple of pluses elsewhere, but then he's got that 6.
Yeah.
And that's like a variation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like to have those varying stats.
Yeah.
And it just gives the party dynamics to it.
I agree. I completely agree.
But I do like to have everybody's top stat at the same at the beginning, because it is very easy to balance, and then it's very easy for you to either take a feat or take an SI, and then it's like this person's got a slightly better to hit, but this person got the feat, and it's for a DM, especially if you're a first time DM, that becomes way easier to balance.
Yes.
Way easier to balance.
Totally.
And I also don't let anybody start with a 20.
Yeah, I was going to say,
If you I don't think any player should have a problem with not starting with a 20, personally.
No, I agree.
Because, again, we said this before, like, where do you go? Like, level 1, you are slightly better than the average Joe.
Considerably better than the average Joe.
But you aren't the finished article.
No,
You are just a bit better.
Yeah, room to grow.
And room to grow.
Room
So
to
I don't
grow.
let any of my players start at the 20.
But again, that is something that if you like the sound of that, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
If you don't, if your players don't, fair enough.
Yeah, use something else. Standard array buff, standard array point buy, whatever you want.
Indeed. Anything else we'd like to add to stats?
No, I think that's pretty comprehensive stat talk.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so now we are on to homebrew rules.
Homebrew rules.
Yeah,
We haven't said that before.
We got here. We got
Yeah,
here in
yeah.
the end. Yep. So, homebrew rules. Do you have any?
Yeah. Do you have any?
Yep.
Because now is the time to implement them.
Indeed.
Now is the time to tell every single person around the table about your homebrew rules.
Yep, now's the time to put them all out on the table, say this is the rules that we're going to use,
Yeah.
make sure everyone understands them, everyone is okay with them. Run them past your players.
If you're playing D&D, 5e is a great system. Of course it is, otherwise it wouldn't be as big as it is.
Yeah.
But fuck me, does it have some flaws?
Yeah.
Fuck me, is there some places where they just drop the ball? But
Yeah.
you know,
There's so many homebrew rules we use. We did a video on
yeah, we did a
homebrew
video on our
rules.
homebrew rules. We'll link
Link
that
it up there.
up there.
We'll link it somewhere. So those are some homebrew rules that we use. So please feel free to take a look.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is find out what ones you want to use if you're
Yeah.
using any at all.
Mm-hmm. And let your players know straight away. And ask your players if they've got any.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That maybe they might all be new and they don't have any.
Yeah.
They could be experienced and have some.
We went for a coffee with Matthew and his other DM that he plays another campaign with.
Yes.
Jack. Jack watches the campaign. So hi, Jack.
Shout
Hi,
out
Jack.
to you. You
And,
rock, dude.
We got talking about the advantage, disadvantage tokens.
Yes.
And Jack's now implementing that in his game.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is awesome. See, this
Which-
is the thing though. It's like you go and you had like talk to other people who play D&D, and they're like, "Oh, we do this," and you're
Yeah,
like, "Man,
yeah.
that sounds so cool."
See, this is why it's important, I think, to talk to people in the community and
Yeah.
to look at the comments and to have a conversation about what people do, because
There might be something in your game that you're just not happy with, and you don't know why, and you don't know
Yes.
how to fix it. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now,
Mhm.
someone's got to fix for it.
Absolutely, 100%.
Somewhere out there,
does,
someone's got to fix.
without a doubt. And you know
We-
what? If there isn't a fix, make it up.
Yeah, we hate inspiration.
Yeah.
We don't like inspiration
No.
because, you know, if everyone, let's just say Margaret's at the table and she does some really good role play.
Thank you.
Of course. And I don't want to go, "Oh, Margaret, you get inspiration," because then everyone else is like, "Oh, I'm not role playing hard enough." Like, why? And, you know, sometimes I can forget to say it in that moment. I can be like, "Oh, that was a
Yeah.
beautiful bit of role play there, Abby." And then I'll just not remember to give her inspiration. And then she's
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
then-
but why didn't I get
Then
inspiration
we're like,
there?"
well, yeah, and you know what? It in combat as well, sometimes people just have a shitter.
Yeah.
For example, last night
You had a really,
I
really
had
hard time.
such a rough time. So I have multi-attack because I'm a moon druid. Don't know if you
I
guys
mean, you're level
know.
5, so you don't have multi attack.
Yes, I have multi-attack in my farm, and I also summoned a creature that had multi-attack.
Yeah.
So we went 4 rounds.
3 rounds.
3 rounds.
No, it was 3. It must have been 3. It can't have
3
been 4.
rounds without landing a single hit.
Yeah. Wasn't
And
good.
that's just how it goes
Yeah.
sometimes. But in moments like that, if you're expecting inspiration for landing a big hit or doing something cool in combat, man,
Mm.
I wouldn't have.
no.
No way.
So
I
we just-
felt bad enough about myself.
So we just have an advantage token that everyone has up at the beginning of the session.
yeah, again, well,
Yeah.
if you want to
Then
learn
you
about that,
Flip it over. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll link that.
yeah.
So that's, you know, session 0 is somewhere to put in. Is it,
Mhm.
you know, the most simple one that a lot of people use, bonus action potions.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Let your players know session 0 that's gonna
Yeah.
be a thing.
Basically, just make sure you run them past with your players, see if there's anything they would like to implement, see if there's anything that, if they are uncomfortable with the homebrew rule, is there anything that you could change?
Yeah.
Like, for example, we have a policy with you where if you can introduce homebrew rules whenever you want.
Yeah.
I say policy. Oh,
Yeah, we have a-
look at that. It's a
yeah.
policy.
Company policy.
Mhm.
But we have if I want to introduce a rule, I brought a rule to the table the other day, and we haven't implemented it
Yeah.
because none of my players wanted to implement it. It
Yeah.
was just me.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, but I didn't get upset about that. It's
no.
just, you know, like homebrew rules are to, in my opinion, make the game better in ways it's not.
yeah, and to enrich the player's enjoyment.
And you guys
Like
didn't
we're
want
little hamsters in a cage.
you guys didn't want that rule, so I'm not hurt about it. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't implement it.
Yeah.
It was just something that I thought might make the game better. But you guys brought some things to my attention that I was like, oh yeah, actually,
Yeah.
maybe you are right. Maybe that wouldn't make the game better because of.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have known that if we didn't have the conversation.
But we had that conversation, and because we had that conversation, I was like, oh fuck, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
And we just didn't implement it.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Exactly. And I think it's also important to, when you're going through your homebrew rules, to set a precedent for, if they don't work, will you be willing to take them out?
Yeah. Be flexy. Be flexy with the rules.
Yeah.
You might have I implemented a rule.
You're shocked to be saying flexy. I was certain you were going to say flexible. That was so modern and chic of you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I am,
flexy,
like young
modern
and
and chic.
young and cool and
Go on,
hip and
how old are
stuff.
you?
29.
Yeah.
So I implemented a rule at the beginning of this game that spellcasters couldn't crit
Yes.
because spellcasters late game are far superior to melee characters
yeah.
or upfront fighters.
Yeah.
My players did not like that rule. I said that if you get a crit on a spell, you can then use your bonus action to cast another spell
But
of
only
first
a bonus action spell.
Yeah, of first or second level.
Which
So you cast this spell and you're like, oh shit, I crit. I'm gonna misty step over here, or I'm going to cast this bonus action heal on someone. So they didn't like it. So do you know what?
We had a good old whinge about it.
Yeah,
And he took it out.
they chewed my ear off and I took it out.
And he took it out.
Do you want to know what? I'm gonna be honest.
Nah, don't want to hear it.
They didn't really let it
We didn't.
take hold because we were still level 2 when they got rid of it.
Yeah, I
They
don't
were
know.
like, well, I haven't got any bonus action spells. I was like, that's because you're level 2.
But that is a perfect example of, we really didn't like that rule.
Yeah.
And whilst you thought, look, give it some time, we simply didn't want to.
Yeah, so we just took it out.
Yeah, and we were all, the most important thing was we were honest about it and said we just didn't like it.
And I do think you should have let it take its course.
Yeah.
Because now I feel like there is a lot of bonus action spells.
Yes.
And we're getting into nearly 4th level spell.
You know what? In hindsight now, yeah, but I still didn't like them.
But that's okay because we just had a conversation. You guys told me why you didn't like it, and I took it out
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, like everyone should enjoy it.
Oh, of course.
The spellcasters not critting and bonus action spells first or second level.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
Really, that affects my players.
One of the biggest joys in the game is rolling a natural 20 and having a big scream and standing up and doing the double damage, man. Rolling the double dice.
And last campaign, I had something called crunchy crits.
Oh my god, we had crunchy crits.
We had crunchy crits, which means all of the dice that you would normally roll.
Yep.
So let's just say you roll an attack with a great axe, and it's a D12.
Yeah.
You would get maximum on that dice.
Yep.
So you would roll.
You would automatically get the 12.
Automatically have 12 plus your modifier.
Yep.
And then you would also roll another D12. Because it is a bit shit when you roll a D12.
And you roll snake eyes.
And you roll fucking snake eyes.
It's happened to me so many times.
And you would have got a better damage on a normal hit if you just rolled above a 2. So, that was happening. And it was too much for us all. Like if my monsters crit, you would probably go down in one hit.
Yes, it was something that all of us together were like, this might be too much for everyone.
It didn't help that Josh was a vengeance paladin, and was just like, I'm gonna get advantage on this guy. Natural 20.
I'm gonna
smite. And then he was like, okay, so before I actually roll any dice, I'm doing 46 points of damage. Let me just roll these dice.
Yeah.
Jack, that's 75 points of damage.
Wild.
It's hard to balance, and while that feels good, we amended it slightly.
Yes.
And I don't think we talked about this before.
I can't recall.
So now our crits, the feat that you can get.
Oh, is it Great Weapon Master?
Yeah, where you get to reroll 1s and 2s.
Yes.
Or is it the Barbarians' Great Weapon Fighting?
I think it's Great Weapon Fighting.
Is it that one?
Yes.
So we basically took that, and a Barbarian can do it on any rolls they want. But if you crit and you roll all of your dice, you can pick up all the 1s and 2s and re-roll them.
Yeah.
If you get 1 and 2 again, you just got to keep it.
Yeah.
But the amount of times it makes crits feel good
100%
without being
going totally crazy.
Obnoxiously big damage.
Yes. Yeah.
And my monsters get to do it too.
Yeah. That was a huge difference. And that was something that we all just talked about. So it is important to set a precedent for if things aren't working.
Yeah.
Allow your players to come forward and say, and give yourself space to come forward and say this isn't working for XYZ reason.
Yeah, as a DM.
And have a conversation.
Yeah.
And also make them aware that if, like Jack, a few sessions in or however long in, you go, someone suggested this really cool homebrew rule to me. Can we try it?
Yeah.
It's important to say that before you just put it in.
Oh yeah, don't get into the game and then be like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys this. I'm now implementing this rule, and everyone's like, oh, do it at the beginning of a session.
Yeah.
If you forgot to do it, just wait till the next session.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, if you set that precedent early in session 0, being like, these are the homebrew rules I'm implementing.
Yep.
If they don't work, let's take them out.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't work but we like them, let's change them.
Yeah.
And let's workshop them together. If you have that open line of communication, like nothing can really go wrong at that point.
No, I agree. And to be honest, that can be said for everything we're talking about here.
Yeah, of
course. As long as you have an open line of communication with everything.
My players know, like, when I changed that crunchy crit roll, like, you guys were like, oh, but we really like. I was just being honest. I was like, it's really fucking hard for me to balance this.
And we were like, yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, and you guys were super fine with it.
Yeah.
And it's the same on the other hand. They didn't like the spellcasters can't crit roll.
Yeah.
So I was like, fine, you guys have been lenient with me before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more than happy to take it out if you don't like it.
Yes.
And that was good.
Indeed.
So yeah.
Anything else you would like to add on homebrew rules?
No, I think that's good.
Go on, read out what we're moving on to next.
Character deaths.
Oh, he read the list, guys. Yes. So
imagine if I'd read the wrong one.
You were like, the 3 digits on the back of our card.
Yes.
Our postcode.
This is a big one, I think.
Yes. Character deaths. How are you going to handle character deaths?
Yeah.
And it's so important at this point that you find out what your player's stance is on this.
Yeah. I think this is something really important. This and TPKs. Like, we've made our stance very clear on TPKs, and I think a lot of people, the amount of people agree.
Yes.
And there's some people who don't, and that's fine. Like, this isn't. You
have to do what's right for your game.
Yeah, this isn't like what's right and what's wrong and unpopular opinions or anything like that. To us, TPKs just aren't a thing that we like because we put too much. I don't have the time to just think up a new fucking backstories for all of you. You all think of your own backstories, but how I'm going to tie them in.
Yes, of course.
I think character death is really, 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 really important. We got somebody just tagged us in a video that they posted on TikTok yesterday, and they were like, "My character died last night in our game," and she said, the person said, who posted it, "I don't want to continue the campaign."
Yeah.
And I continued to watch, and they said that because they were so attached and they were so far into the campaign.
Yeah.
And they got to this point and their character had died, and they had expected their character to be able to come back in some capacity.
God. See, that just puts such a big
I know, it's sad because
we
all get like attached. I get attached to my NPCs. God. I get attached to everyone's characters.
Hey, I get so attached to my character.
Yeah, and if you hadn't discussed it, and you obviously this group hadn't discussed it, and they got to the point, and this person was like, "Oh well, if my character can't come back, like I'll just sit out the rest of the campaign," and then they were told that they were being selfish.
Yeah,
and I don't think that's not true. I think it's on both of them that they didn't discuss it before this point.
Yes.
But at the same time, this player didn't want to carry on, understandably, without their character.
Absolutely.
And didn't just want to come in, at like level 10 or whatever. I don't know what level they were, but, like knees deep in a campaign.
Yes, I completely agree.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
So I think discussing, and the thing is, you don't have to have one rule fits all. Like,
yes.
We went into a boss fight last night, and I went to pick Josh up before the session. And
it was based on his backstory.
Yeah, it was a boss that wanted Josh's character dead. For
reasons.
A lot
of reasons.
Quite a complicated reason.
Yeah. That's D&D, baby.
And I picked Josh up and I was like, so what's not that it's gonna happen, and it didn't.
It didn't.
It was fucking close.
But
it was 2 death saves down.
Yes.
I said, what do you want to happen if Igneous is his character's name? What happens if Igneous dies?
Yeah.
And I was like, do you want to have the group try and find a way back, or
yeah.
do you want to just leave it there
Yeah.
and begin another character.
Are you happy with his story ending there?
And Josh, you know, he was like, I think I'd be okay with Igneous's story ending there.
That doesn't surprise me, yeah.
And going on. And he'd already thought of a different like character concept. Because he was convinced he was going to die.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was convinced.
Fair enough.
And you know, it was close.
It was close.
But there was... It started very badly.
It started very
But
badly.
it went quite well towards the end. And, you know, but we just had that open line of communication. Like, you know, this is going to be a dangerous fight for you in particular.
Yes.
What happens if it goes wrong?
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. And Josh was just all honest. And if Josh had turned to me and said, nah, I want them to find a way to bring my character back, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, that's, like, cool. I was like, and I even said to him, do you want to play, like, a fill-in character?
Yeah.
Do you want to
while we're on the track to get Igneous
somebody
back,
else?
Yeah.
Or do you want to sit out for a few sessions? I obviously said I don't want Josh to sit out for a few sessions.
No, of course.
I want him at the table. He's
Of
my
course.
mate, and I love playing with him.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just like all of these things. Do you want to come in and play somebody who's just going to help the group?
Yes.
Do you just want to sit out for a few sessions?
Yeah, and you know what? There's a few ways you can go about this. You can go about it saying, as the DM, I rule it's permadeath. And you're well within your right as the DM to say that.
But you need to make sure everybody else is happy with that as well.
Exactly. You need to make sure that if you are ruling that it's permadeath, everyone's okay with it and everyone understands, most importantly. The other way you can go about it, which is the way we do, is have a conversation, say, if it comes to this point with your character, how would you like to deal with it? And there's nothing wrong with having this conversation now and potentially it changing.
Yeah, like, I think... you could say it in session. You'll say it in session 0. Like, okay, when characters die, like you don't have to like voice your opinions at the table.
You don't even have to get people to tell you.
No, they can just talk to you later.
Exactly.
They can just message you. They can you know do it in private if they want to do it there and then. That's fine. But from the moment now, when you begin your campaign to 50 sessions in,
things could change.
Things can change.
100%.
Like somebody could, you know, with all of the danger that they encountering. Their character could just be at peace with the fact that this battle might be the last battle I ever fight.
Yeah.
But somebody might have been like, no, I'm totally fine with them dying. No problem at all. But then come to 50 sessions in and be like, this is my favorite character I've ever made. And I want them to like see the conclusion. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind.
Yeah.
Like, I think if a character dies and you've already had a discussion, like, you know, the session might end, and then just go to that person and be like, I know you said it at the beginning, but are you still cool with this?
Is it still the same case?
Yeah. Do you still feel the same?
This is something you absolutely should bring up in session 0, but it's something that this is more throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
Especially, like you said, there was a chance you knew and Josh knew going into that fight his character might have been lost.
Yeah.
It's okay to continuously have these conversations.
Oh, yeah. Like, just because Josh said in session 0, oh, yeah, I'm totally fine, my character dies. I wasn't just going to take that as gospel. Like, I had to come to him and
check in with your players.
The drive to the session last night and be like, so, just to check in.
Yeah.
What happens if?
Yeah.
And we just had a little giggle in the chat about it.
Indeed. And you know what? We haven't written the point now. We're straying from the path, lads.
Oh, yeah. Great band.
Yeah, great band. Listen to them. But this actually makes me think of if you're a new player, an experienced player, and you've gone in with a character and you realize that you actually really don't like the character.
Yeah.
You don't like the class. It's just not what you expected it to be. Is there something set up for your player to be able to come to you and say, I'm really not enjoying playing this?
Yeah.
Instead of ending up doing something really reckless to try and get their character killed off.
Yeah.
Can your players come to you and say, I'm not enjoying this. Is there something we can do?
Yeah, that's really important because I think, you know, when you make your first D&D character, it's, you know, everyone does it. They make either the edgiest edgelord of all time, or they play the lone wolf.
That's exactly what I did.
Don't really like involve themselves sometimes, and it can be really hard to. Like.
It can be hard to change the course of things at points. And you know what? Perfect example of this. I've mentioned it before, but in the very first campaign we ever played, I played exactly that. I played a lone wolf. She was very cold, very closed off to the group.
Yeah, she was.
And I ended up presenting her for it.
Yeah.
And not only that, because it was the first game, I didn't know what class I wanted to play. So I picked a Berserker Barbarian. And the repercussions to berserking can
Mhm.
be quite difficult.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't enjoying playing her.
Yeah.
I simply didn't like it. So instead of going to my DM and having
Yeah.
a conversation about it,
Yeah.
because I didn't realize I could, I just put her in dangerous situations. I acted really reckless with her
Yeah.
to try and kill her off.
Yeah.
And I should have had the
Yeah.
conversation with my
Just turned
DM,
to Matthew and said, "Can I change class?
because
Can I change subclass?"
even if he wouldn't have let me change class or subclass, I mean, this is all speculation. I don't know if he would have.
Yeah.
My worry was he wouldn't let me,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know that because I didn't have the conversation with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
get
should
that.
have. I should have talked to him,
Yeah.
and at the very least, we would have worked something out.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think Berserker Barbarians repercussions to going into that frenzy rage
Mhm.
is too much.
Berserker barbarians are so cool.
Oh, they're so cool.
First of all,
Like,
very cool.
when I think of a barbarian, that's exactly what I think of. Just
Yes,
someone
same.
who goes into rage and just loses their mind
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
it's like feral animal sort of
Yes.
style of fighting. But I think we don't use those exhaustion rules, so playing that in my game would probably be a little bit less
Yes.
punishing.
Yes,
But
definitely.
I think getting a point of exhaustion every single time because the thing is, if you don't do that, you are just
just a normal
you are
barbarian.
just barbarian.
Yeah.
You aren't anything like more than just barbarian.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
So I think, playing it's like a monk. Like if you wanted to play a monk in my campaign, I might give you some extra key.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
like the stuff that you can spend your key on is amazing.
Mm.
But the problem is it just gets so key starved straight away.
Yeah. Well, Matthew played a sorcerer,
Yeah.
and the meta magic just wasn't great. It just didn't work for
Yeah,
him.
like
So he came to you, and you sorted it out.
he said, "Is there a way that I could maybe get like some more sorcery points back on
Yeah.
like a short rest?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah. What we'll do is we'll just like you'll get a minimum. It'll be like 1d4 plus 1 or something.
Mm.
Like every time you have a short rest, just roll a d4 and then you'll get that many sorcery points back."
Yeah. So I think it's really important to be
And
able to.
He was like, "You don't have to do anything, but please,
Yeah,
if like
but
don't feel like you have
please.
to, like." And I was just like, "Matthew, it's fine." It's like, is that going to make you have a better time at the table?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Then let's do it. If it's
Yes.
too much, then we'll scale it back. If it's not
Yes.
enough, then we'll scale it forwards."
So it's important as the DM to let your characters, also characters, let your players know that if they're having teething issues, if there's problems, can they come to you and talk to you about it and
Yeah.
you sort something
Can they
out?
change anything about their subclass, even their subclass, or even their class?
Yes.
Like, how flexible are you going to be?
Yeah.
Especially with new players, because, it might sound amazing when they read it in the book, but
Mm.
they might come to play and be like, "I fucking hate this."
Yeah. Oh, I hope you guys couldn't hear my tummy rumbling there.
I couldn't hear it.
Ooh, that was a big old
Was
tummy
it? You
rumble. Let
hungry?
me tell you, I'm starving.
Well, you're going to have to wait.
Oh man.
Give the people their content first.
We just go cook like a lasagna now.
Yeah.
Guys, you said you don't mind 2 plus
Just
hour
order
episodes.
pizza and just put it in there and just start eating.
Yes. So, anything else you would like to add to that?
No, I think we actually went way more than what we
We
thought
did. We
were
did.
gonna start
We
about.
strayed.
That was a really good point.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, the next point we'd like to talk about is what is your role play to combat balance?
Yes. Good job you said that, because I went to the next one.
Did you?
I don't know why I can't read this.
In your defense, we did go off. We did go off
Yeah.
a little bit. So yeah, what's the balance going to be?
Yeah, this is a really big thing that I think not that many people touch on.
Yes.
Because if you're going to go play a real old school hardcore game,
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Oh no, of course
Nothing
not.
wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with
But,
that.
like when you look at CR's bullshit, and people won't probably understand why, and it's because CR is based off having 6 combats a day.
Mm.
In between your long rests, you're supposed to have 6 combats. I don't know
Man.
fucking anyone that does that.
No,
but
we definitely
there probably
couldn't.
will be tables out there. But if you're turning up with this really fleshed out backstory and this really cool character with all these cool character quirks, and you do nothing but fucking fight monsters
Yeah, that's
6 times a day,
probably not going to be the right table for you.
it's
is
probably
it?
not going to be the right table for you.
Yeah. So I think it's really important as the DM set the precedent of this is going to be the balance. What
Yeah.
do you guys want? Find out, most importantly, what do your players want out of it?
Yeah.
Do they want a more roleplay heavy game?
Yeah.
Do they want a more combat heavy game? Are they okay having it split 50-50?
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me. I hope you didn't hear that. But tummy rumbling,
The,
burping.
At our table, my players can probably expect a combat most sessions.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
every session will have a combat, whether it'll be like a meme combat that takes 5 minutes or
Yeah.
like a rock hard combat. You don't
Yes.
know, but you probably can get one combat, and then that might take an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And we play for about 4-ish hours, 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
So then there's probably going to be about 3 hours of role playing.
Yes.
So it's it's a lot. You know, there's a lot of role playing.
Yes, indeed.
and all of my players are totally fine with that.
Yeah, yeah.
But some people don't really like role playing.
Yeah. So that is important to double check with your players.
Super
And
important.
to be honest, this once again, session 0 is the whole point is to work out if as a group are you going to work well together.
Is this game for you? Is this DM for you? Are these players for you?
Is the players for you? Yeah, and as the DM, you will know what you're more interested in. I mean, and you know what? If you don't, that's fine as well. But go in, letting your players know this is how you're going to run the game.
Mm-hmm.
Find out if that's okay with them.
Yeah, I think, again, like turning up with this amazing character and then just fucking fighting goblins 6 times a day.
Or vice versa.
Is going to feel pretty bad. So to know that
Yeah.
before you go in is important.
Mhm.
Like, what can you expect?
Or turning up just wanting to absolutely slay everything in sight, and then finding out that it's all story
You
based.
want some rock hard combat.
Yeah,
You want to
exactly.
roll dice all night long, and then it's this
yeah.
like really cool story based game, and you might have a combat every like 3 sessions or something.
Yeah, exactly. That might not work for you.
That probably won't work. For
Yeah,
you.
well, yeah.
And to find that out before the game starts
Is really
is
important.
Really important.
Really important, yeah. And the kind of add-on to this is, if it is more story-based, I mean, it doesn't have to be more story-based for backstory exploration, but find out from your players, do they want their backstories explored?
Yeah.
Are there backstories at all?
Yeah, like, if you're going to turn up and write this beautiful backstory. Sorry, let me just clear my throat. And write this beautiful backstory, and, the DM might think it's just going to be a short campaign. You're just going to blast through the story, and then you're going to move on to something else. And your backstory doesn't get explored, and you're upset by that.
Yeah.
But it's just because there was no communication between the two. Like, that DM might be more than happy to, but they didn't realize you wanted to.
Yes, exactly. And you, as a DM, might not expect your players to send you backstories over. I feel like in a more modern sense, the more kind of the way D&D is moving, I think a lot of games do expect to have backstories from characters sent over.
I agree, yeah.
But again, that's just assuming.
Yeah. All my players know that they can send me this like fleshed out backstory because I will explore it.
Yes, exactly. We know for a fact we'll give you a backstory and we'll be taken into the world.
Yeah, you will have something. You will have something written about you. There'll be a story for you to explore. You always know there'll be the main plot line and everyone's backstory.
Yes, exactly. So clear that up with your players. Make sure that everyone is on the same page as that. And please, Lord, find out from people what people want from the experience.
Yeah.
It's more combat or roleplay.
Yeah, there's nothing more devastating than writing a backstory and then not having it explored.
Yeah, and some people might not care. Some people might just be able to go with the flow.
Yeah.
And that's fine
Just
too.
want to turn up, I'm a soldier. I just want to smash it with my sword. My sword.
But I'm also happy to sit in the tavern and gas on with NPCs and the other player characters. But it's important to find out.
I think it's very important to find out.
Yeah.
If your backstory is going to be explored by the DM.
Indeed. Okay. Go on. Read out the next one.
Is it safety tools?
It's safety tools.
Okay. I'm just gonna say this now.
Go on.
I'm just gonna say this now and get it out the way with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Safety tools are not some liberal soft fucking snowflake woke fucking stuff that we're trying to just ruin your really cool gruesome game and stuff like that. That is not what safety tools are.
No.
If you think that's what safety tools are,
then you're in the wrong place.
No, it's not even that you're in the wrong place. Just listen to what I'm about to say. That is not what they are. What safety tools are, you live a life, things happen to you in your life.
Yeah. All the time.
Traumatic things. Things that make you scared.
Yeah.
Things that frighten you.
Yeah.
All of these things that you experience in real life.
Yes.
Okay? Whether it's a spider to something far worse.
Yep.
Safety tools are so when you go into a game, those things that you are afraid of, those things that have hurt you in life, those things that have traumatized you, aren't brought up to make your safe space of D&D, your fun game that you play with your mates, something that you have to not look forward to, something that you have to begrudge, something that you have to
that
dread.
Sets you off, something that triggers you,
something that you don't want to talk about. You have it. I don't care who you are. You have it.
Yeah.
Something's happened to you. Something's happened to me. Something's happened to Margaret. we have those things that we don't want to talk about
Yeah.
in our daily life, so we don't want them to come up in D&D.
Yes.
Okay? So if you think that safety tools are some fucking liberal snowflake fucking soft bullshit, you're wrong.
You
Because
are.
you're getting offended by something that you don't understand.
Yes.
Safety tools are for everyone, no matter who you are.
And think of it this way. You would not, at least I would hope, you wouldn't ever, if you know that your friend has gone through something, you wouldn't ever want to bring that up to hurt your friend.
No.
And I'm not saying that these things happen on purpose, but there could be things that happen on accident that you touch on because you don't know.
Because you just don't know.
And you run the risk of hurting your friend,
Yeah.
of traumatizing your friend more, of upsetting them, making them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't ever want to do that,
Yeah.
on purpose or not.
So now, if you've heard that and you still think it's some liberal fucking snowflake bullshit, then now I will say it, you can fuck off.
Bye.
The door is somewhere in your house. Turn around and walk out of it because we don't care about you here.
Yeah.
If you don't think that safety tools are important,
Or
I
if
don't
you
I
think
don't I
they-
don't understand how you can hear that and then still be like, no, they're just trying to make me game soft.
They're just trying to censor me. They're censoring
They're censoring me.
These things happen in real life.
Let me just say it. You aren't important enough to need censoring. No one cares. That is not why safety tools are there. They aren't there to make you have a bad time. They're there to make everybody have a good time.
I think people take them as a personal attack.
Yeah.
People think, well, they're just trying to censor they're trying to censor what I'm doing. It's like, this stuff happens in real life, so it should happen in the game. Why shouldn't things that happen in the big, bad, nasty world happen in fantasy? Oh, because it's fantasy, and we all play it to
and we're
have
here
a
to
good
have
time.
a good time. You can still touch on like very sensitive topics and very, hard hitting shit, as long as that hard hitting shit isn't going to cause somebody at your table to have a bad time.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my rant over.
Yeah, I think it's an important rant to have. I think safety tools are very misunderstood.
People just hear that word and they're like, "Oh, fucking, here we go again."
Oh, these these left people, or they're always just trying to censor everything. Oh, they're so sensitive. They're so PC.
It's not why we're doing it.
No.
It's not why we have
it's
safety tools.
It's because we don't want to hurt the people around us.
We don't want
it's
to,
as
like,
simple as
we
that.
play with our friends and we don't want to have them have a bad time.
Yeah.
That is literally the reason safety tools are there.
Yeah.
To make sure everyone has a good time and nobody gets upset or triggered by anything.
Agreed. So, rant over.
Yeah.
But actually onto the topic of
onto
safety tools.
Now we can talk about them. Now that everyone who doesn't like them's left,
gone.
Now we can talk about them.
Or you're furiously writing out a terrible comment.
I fucking hate you two. Fucking hate you two. You're the worst. You're ruining D&D.
You know who sees those comments? No one.
Yeah.
Not even us.
Somebody was like, you can disagree with opinions, but you can't silence them. And I was like, well, I can't.
Actually,
because I'll just fucking block you and I'll delete your comments. And he was like, well, there's number one rule of fascism. Oh, come on. Bro, you just...
Come on, man.
Look, this is my space.
I know. This is our space.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's not mine. Well, I belong here, but, don't get rid of me. Margaret belongs here. All of you who agree with us belong here. This is our space, and we'll say what we want here, and you can all understand that what we're gonna say isn't to attack anyone like you, because we fucking love you all.
Yeah, you are our people.
We want to be the lightning rod for all the horse shit comments out there. Not you
guys don't have to get it.
I'm gonna make this a safer space for the people who want to be here, and I'm gonna make this a safe space for my squad. My Eldritch.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it.
Oh my God, Jack.
The squad blasters. The squad blasters in the chat.
This was the point I was gonna make.
This is all over the place.
Sorry guys. In the beginning when I was like, there was a point that I wanted to talk. It was that I wrote it on my phone. Listen, sorry, tangent here.
Yeah.
It was 3 a.m. in the morning. We hadn't slept because the dog was really bothered.
Itchy.
And Jack went to the toilet. He came back and he walks in and he just goes, "Squad blasters."
That's what we're gonna call them.
No,
squad blasters.
That is not what we're calling you guys.
But yeah,
squad blasters.
Just to get back on the point,
So shall we actually talk about what we were going to talk about?
Yeah.
Safety tools.
Yeah.
The ever divisive safety tools that should not be divisive whatsoever. So now there is many different types of safety tools you can use. There is loads out there. We will link all of them below. I think in the last video, we watched a video that Ginny D did about it, and she had a link. It was a really comprehensive link.
She had a similar rant.
Yeah.
She had a very similar rant.
Yeah, she's absolutely
At the beginning,
custard
she said the
swore.
same sorts of
But
things.
you know what? We say that Ginny D is very, very outspoken about hating the community. Rightly so.
fucking
So
rightly
she
so.
should be.
Yeah.
And she had a great, I think it was a link to a drive that had many different safety tools. We will link that as well.
Yeah.
So it can be something as simple as just a Google form.
Yeah.
Listen,
Just send a Google form to your
just
mates.
send a Google form
And
out.
just be like, anything that you don't want me to talk about,
Yeah.
put it in here.
All
And
anonymous.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did. I
Yeah.
sent out an anonymous form. I said, is there anything at all that you don't want me to talk about?
Yeah.
Because I won't. Simple as that.
That is it. That's all it needs to be.
Yeah.
You just don't need to talk about those
Yeah.
things.
Find it out privately from your players and respect that they don't want those things talked about.
There's, again, like we said, like people have been through a lot. So just not bringing those handful of things up. Like my group doesn't have any. I don't think. No, I think you have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if the thing is, if I brought something up in the session and somebody was like, I'm not comfortable with this, just move on.
Yeah, things change.
It's alright, it's fine.
Things can change.
We'll just move on.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with, accidentally touching a nerve that somebody didn't even know they have.
Indeed.
And
Because
then-
sometimes you don't know until it happens.
Yeah, sometimes, it can just, like, something can happen and that thought can just lead you somewhere that you don't want to be led.
Yeah.
And then if somebody just says out, like, I'm not really comfortable talking about this, that's fine. Like, I didn't expect it, you didn't expect it. Let's not make it weird. That's totally fine. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
That's all it needs to be.
Agreed. It's so important to find out from your players.
Yeah.
So important.
It's so important.
And if you DM as well, there's something that triggers you, something you don't want addressed, make that known as well.
You can make that known to your players.
Indeed. Okay. Let's shake it off. Let's cool down a little bit.
Nah, I'm ready to fight.
Ready to throw hands. And hey, we've said it before, the reason that things like that upset us and bother us so much is because it's, in our opinion, it's just pathetic. There is no space for anything like that, and it's important to us
Yeah,
that
it's
we
really,
make our
really fucking
stance
important
known.
to us. And that's why, we're only on episode 15.
Yeah.
This is 15.
Yeah.
And I think this is like the 4th time we brought it
Well,
up.
because it's important to us.
Because it's important
and
to us.
the amount of people who have come to us and said thank you
Yeah.
for creating a safe space for me.
Because there is D&D content creators out there. I don't know of any particular one, but there's been people who've commented on some of our videos
Who
being
are
like,
in the D&D space.
but there's people who've been like, oh, I was watching this other person on TikTok the other day and like they have a complete opposite stance to you and it's nice
Yeah.
to be here. I don't know who they are, but they obviously exist.
Yeah.
And it's just not okay.
Agreed. So this is a safe space for you, our friends.
Yeah.
Safe
Let us
space for
do
you.
the fighting.
Yeah, let us scrap in the playground because we will.
Yeah. Oh, we will. we're fucking fighters. Just us.
So, on to the next is scheduling.
Big one. Big one,
It is a
big
big one.
We're all busy.
Yep.
We're all
adults. All, and
But we're not. Some people might be a little bit younger and
Yeah,
like in
but
college or even in school.
everyone's busy. We're all in the rat race together.
Yeah.
Right? There's things that people just have to do in their lives.
Yeah.
So find out.
Shit comes up as well.
Yeah. Find
So-
out what it is.
Two things that you need to do is,
Mm-hmm.
there's actually a few. How often do you play?
Yes.
Do you play once a week? Do you play once every 2 weeks? Do you
Yeah.
play once a month?
Yeah. You
Like,
play every single day,
do you play
baby.
every day?
Every day.
Every day. Every
Mhm.
goddamn day.
Yep.
I wish there was a world where I could.
Me
I
too.
don't know what. Even if I didn't have everything, I still don't think I could plan that much.
No.
Where do you play?
Yeah.
What a huge one.
Yeah.
Do you play in person? Do you play online?
Mhm.
If you're online, what do you use?
Yeah.
Is it Discord? Is it just
Roll20, is it? What is it?
Yeah.
And if you play face to face, do you have a common place you will meet up?
Yeah.
For example, everyone comes around here to our house.
Everyone comes here.
Everyone comes here, and we made that clear from the get-go. Maybe you swap houses. Maybe you play somewhere public.
We used to play 1 week here, 1 week at Matthew's, but
Yeah, we
because
used to rotate.
because our dog is, just a very needy
a
boy.
very needy dog.
We said to Matthew, would you mind? And Matthew was like,
I would so much
He was like,
prefer
fuck,
it
I'd love it. I wouldn't have to clean the house every
to
week.
to just come round. Exactly.
You know, so that little bit of communication
Yeah.
helped Matthew and helped us. So now we just play every session here.
See if someone's willing to offer their house,
Yeah.
however often you play to play in.
Yeah.
And the most important thing
Very
is
important thing.
what happens if someone can't make it.
Yes.
That is such an important thing. Do you all not play? Do you postpone it for the week? Does someone take over their character? Does their character just kind of
Get sidelined for the week.
get sidelined for the week? Exactly. What happens when
if
someone can't make it?
Because there's nothing worse than real life's a thing.
Yeah.
You might
Things
get
happen.
you might get called. You might be on a job that you are on call.
Yeah.
You get called in 5 minutes before the game.
Yeah.
There might be an emergency
Yeah.
and you can't make it.
You might be sick. You know what? You might not just be feeling it that day.
But as every single if every single person knows what happens if you can't make it or one person can't make it.
It takes away a lot of that worry.
Yeah, I don't want to let everyone down. Oh, but it's okay because I know that they'll just play without me.
Exactly.
That immediately takes the pressure off. Being able look, I can't make it today.
Exactly.
That takes the pressure off so much.
I completely agree.
We got enough pressure coming from everywhere else. You don't want pressure coming from your D&D game.
No, indeed. So yeah, make that clear. How often you play? Where do you play? What happens if someone can't make it?
Exactly.
And if someone can't make it, sometimes you might be able to just move it to a different day.
Yeah, because for us, everyone's quite flexible.
Yeah.
We know if it's not on Wednesday, it could even be on Tuesday or Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Anything else you would like to add on to scheduling?
No, I think scheduling is quite an easy one.
Yeah, that's quite straightforward.
Put those few things in motion, and then it'll become easier.
Yeah. So the last one in terms of DM, I was going to say this is going to be quite a long one. Probably not too long, actually.
No, it's about standard stuff.
So the most important thing as the DM is make sure everyone is on the same page.
If you've gone through, let me read them all out.
Go on.
If you've gone through the world primer,
Yep.
the stats,
Yep.
the homebrew rules, character deaths, roleplay to combat balance, safety tools, scheduling, if you've gone through all of that,
Mhm.
and there's somebody who in the group, they might just have not liked what you said.
Yeah.
They might just have been like, don't really like this, don't really like that. Now is the moment to be like, look, you had a few reservations about these things I said.
Yeah.
Is this the right campaign for you?
Yes.
Because they might be like, oh yeah. It's different to normal, but I'm happy to give it a go. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. If you even get an inkling that you're not all on the same page, or there's something that maybe someone's holding back from saying,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, do make sure to you don't have to do it in front of everyone.
Yeah.
You could just reach out to that person
Could just
privately
be there, you could
afterwards
just message them.
and just say. And it's important for you as a DM as well. If you do not think everyone is aligned, if you're not aligned, then that's the point where you should really think, is this the right group for me?
You could have gone through
Now's
the whole
the time
thing.
to do it.
Yeah, definitely. You could have gone
Before
through the
you
whole
even
thing
play.
and someone could have kept going, can't wait to murder all your NPCs.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
And then you're like, what? And they're like, I'm only joking. You can just be like, look, I don't want you to murder Hobo or my NPCs and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like, if something's just not sitting right, before session 1, just find out.
Yes.
Be like, is everybody on the same page? Did everybody agree with what I said there? If
Yeah.
you didn't agree, can we change that?
Yep.
Is there too much that you disagree with
Yeah.
for you to play? As soon as that happens, as soon as that communication's open, later questions are easier to have.
to ask 100%. Sometimes sometimes people just don't like the idea of confrontation. Not that any of this is confrontation. Sometimes people have an issue saying things out loud, especially in front of a group of other people.
Yeah.
Do double check in.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's really important as well to make sure that your players know that line of communication is always open.
Yeah.
Make it clear that if anything changes, they have any concerns, anything at all, they can come to you and they can talk to you.
Yeah.
And it will be a normal human conversation.
Yeah, that's all it'll be. And, at the end as well, there's something else. Just open it up to your group as a DM. Just turn to you after you've gone through all these things. This has been an hour and 25 minutes of us fucking rambling on. Like, these might not. This probably won't take a huge amount of time to get through everything.
No, definitely
the
not.
stats might, but that's probably the only thing.
Yeah.
Literally at the end of the session 0, just turn to your players and say, "Is there anything you want to ask?"
Yes.
Because you might think,
it's a job interview.
yeah, is there anything you want to ask
Anything
me?
else you want to ask?
Just before we leave the scene,
yeah,
before I recruit you into my D&D party. just turn to your players and just say, is there anything that you want to ask me? Because they might come up with something, this isn't everything that you can do in a session
No,
0.
of course not.
Just, and then as soon as you ask that, they can begin to get that line of communication with you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this DM seems pretty chill and pretty open and pretty, wants to listen to us. There you go. It's done. Like, it makes it so much easier from that point for them to ask you any questions.
I hope you guys can't see my feet.
Why would they be able to see
Listen,
feet?
I don't have socks on and I've just crossed my
There's a
legs.
table in the way. You know
Yeah.
that, yeah?
If you see my feet, no, you don't. All right?
The camera won't go that low
This
either.
isn't wiki feet. Do you not think?
It's what wiki feet.
Yeah,
Is that the feet website?
It's the feet. It's the feet. It's the Reddit.
Is that where you go to find the feet? Fair. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. No. I mean, I don't know why I
guess
would know that.
you're not an internet man, I suppose.
And I'm not really a feet man.
No, can confirm.
Just
not into
so
feet.
Everyone knows. Nothing wrong with being like down with feet.
No, just not for you.
It's not for me.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I completely threw you off. What you
No,
were
no.
saying
I think
there.
I finished the point
Okay.
just as you said that.
Good. Just as my nasty little feet cropped up.
But yeah.
Yeah. Make sure that everyone is on the same page.
Yeah.
So that was everything as a DM.
Yeah.
We do, to be honest, a session 0 is mainly for the DM to, like we said, go over the stats, go over the world, go over the characters, everything like that. But as a player, there is a couple of things as well that you can take to a session 0 and you can take away from a session 0.
Yeah.
Now, we do, like we said, we have an episode all for players about what to do at session 1, which we will link here. Yes. And that will go over more in depth things about how to build out a character, what to expect, what to have for your character, how to roleplay, etc. But this is more what you should go into session 0 expecting. So the first thing we would like to touch on is, do you have a character concept already?
Yes. And as soon as you turn up to the session 0 and you've got that character concept, you turn up and you're this warforged artificer from outer space, and then your DM goes, "Oh, it's a really old, it's a Norse old time campaign where everything's built out of wood." Okay. Yeah, there we go.
That's already.
Do they fit the world?
Yes, and are you listening to what your DM is saying and hearing what their world primer is?
Yeah,
and you're going, "Oh, this, I'm not interested in that."
Yeah,
because
does it not interest you?
Yeah, there's a chance that you just might not be into it, and that's okay.
Because a lot of people like traditional fantasy.
Yes,
they don't want a steampunk D&D game.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with steampunk.
No,
steampunk's cool as fuck.
Oh yeah.
But, some people want to play a dwarf fighter.
Not me.
Who plays with a shield and a sword.
No way.
No, I know that you wouldn't. What about a gnome?
I don't want to talk about the Smallies. I don't want to. The Smallies. Don't want to talk about him. Don't want to know.
The world primer gets set out in session 0. You're not starting today, so you can begin to my character's got a great backstory. Can I just tweak this and tweak that little bit to make it fit the world?
Like, for example, going into yours, when you gave me your world primer, I knew I wanted to be a druid,
of course,
obviously, but I didn't really have much more than that. And then you gave us all the information, and it was like immediate inspiration, immediate things I wanted to do and to say. And you might be, as a player, in the same situation. You might not have really any idea, and then the world primer will either inspire you or mold your character around it. Yeah, you might hear the world primer and hate it. And
that's fine.
And we want to make it so clear right now.
That's the point of the session 0.
Session 0 is for you to be able to feel out the group, see how everyone interacts with each other, see if you like the game.
The dynamic. You all get together and somebody's feet might stink in a way that you just don't like.
Yeah.
That's that's a very strange example. But you get there, how's the vibes?
What are the vibes like?
Are you enjoying these people's? If it's your mates and you've played with them before, then you're all right because you don't need to worry about stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if it's a session 0 in a game shop because everyone wants to meet in a neutral space, do you enjoy hanging out with these people?
Yes.
Whether or not the world primer might sound like the best thing you've ever heard.
Do you like the people you're around?
The homebrew rules sound amazing. Yeah. It's going to be this really immersive thing.
Yeah.
And then
that
everyone,
means nothing.
Everyone fucking pisses you off.
Yeah. That means nothing if you don't like the people you're around.
You've got to like the people.
Let me tell you, You can love everything, like what Jack said. If you have a problem even with one person, it will ruin your time.
It will. It probably will. You
It
know,
will.
They might just be wrong in the first instance, and then you turn
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
and
yeah.
You know, the thing is with that, like, it's tough because people, when you first meet them, you know, you want to make a good first impression.
Of course.
But then you start playing D&D,
Of
and maybe
course.
someone's ugly side comes out, and
Yeah,
you know, so you can only do so much. So don't feel bad that you didn't judge someone's character perfectly the first time you meet them.
No one can. And to be honest, you won't fully know until you do get into that session 1.
Yeah.
You could have an amazing session 0
Yeah.
and get into the game and it's just different.
Something's just not right.
That happens.
It does.
It happens, but
don't
I
beat
feel
yourself
like
up if that happens.
a session 0 gives you the best chance to recognize those things before the point.
Agreed.
And this is both as a player and as a DM. And as a player, this is your chance to ask any questions you have.
Yeah.
This is your chance to put all your cards out on the table and say, this is what I expect. This is how I want to play. I want my backstory to be checked in. I want...
Don't try and fit somebody else's mold. Like, if you turn up and you're like, I'm a confident role player and I love to do voices and if everyone's like, no, we don't do voices, like we're not big fans of that, and we don't really do role play, we just like to do combat. Like, don't try and fit somebody else's mold. Just be honest in that moment.
Make sure that everything aligns within your threshold because everything works on a threshold, right? Like, you could go in being like, oh, I want to do a voice, and they go, well, we don't really do voices. That might be something that you can
they might still roleplay heavily, but they just don't do it in voices.
That could be something you could compromise
That
on.
may be something you're willing to give up because everything else is so good.
Indeed. You have to make sure that you're happy with compromising the things that are potentially going to be compromised and set your hard boundaries, your hard lines for things that you're not okay with.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you have to ask yourself, is this the game for me?
Yeah.
Again, there's caveats to that.
Yes.
You probably won't find out until you start
get into
playing.
it.
Yeah, but does everything sound right? Do the way you do stats sound right? Are you given a chance to be able to say, I don't want my character to perma-die? Do you have a chance to say, I don't like or I do like this homebrew rule? That's really important.
Yeah, like, you know, as a player, you should have a say on all of the things as well.
Yeah.
Like, the DM isn't a god.
No.
I know there are DMs out there that think they are. They're not. So, you know, if you hear something that you don't like, you should be able to say, no, I'm not a big fan of that, and not get smacked down.
Yes, definitely.
Like, there and then, like, oh, well, no, it's my game. It's not your game. It's everyone's game.
Yes, indeed.
Everyone's playing it. It's just because you make up where it's set and stuff like that doesn't mean you get to fucking dictate everything.
Indeed. And if communication is something that's important to you, does your DM have an open line of communication?
Yeah.
Have they made it clear that if there's anything you want changing, anything you need, you can go to them? Is that something that's important to you?
Yeah.
This is your chance to work out what's important to you and see if it's going to work. And hey, we've all been there. We have all gone into a game knowing that things are not going to work out.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's problems that you are just trying to avoid and things you are ignoring, and ultimately it never works out.
No.
So don't be hard on yourself. Because we've all been there.
Life's hard enough.
Yeah.
Don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, trust your gut.
Yeah.
If you're feeling
something's not right,
trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
It probably isn't right.
Yeah.
Because we've been there. Trust me, we have been there. And if we had just been honest with ourselves, we would have saved ourselves a lot of time and a lot of chew in between as well, I think.
I agree.
So, really, I think that was kind of the closing statement.
Yeah. It was a very good closing statement.
Oh, thank you. From me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thanks.
I think that's most of the things I would want to cover.
I think,
and a little bit more.
I think we will be happy in the future if someone says, "Can you talk about session 0?"
Point them to the video.
Point them to this video.
Yes.
Yeah, we just wanted to be able to compile everything into one big old video.
Because like I said, we've had a lot of new people to D&D be like, I really want to play. How do I start off? What do you guys do for session 0? Like, I did a session 0 and I don't think I covered as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
So this, hopefully this can be a guide.
Yeah,
it's a pretty long guide.
It's
an hour and 40, but at least it's comprehensive.
Yes, and there's a lot of new people to D&D.
Yeah, this base doesn't seem to be getting any smaller.
Yeah,
It seems to just be
exactly.
getting bigger. So,
Exactly.
you know, the more people that come in, if they can find this,
Yeah.
and
And it helps. You just take one thing away from this,
Yeah.
or it just settles your worries a little bit.
yeah, if I did all of this apart from this thing, but now I'll start to do this thing because I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
If you take anything from this, that's all we want.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need people who have been through it to tell you it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
we've been through it,
it's going to be okay.
and it's gonna be okay.
It is. You're doing a great job.
Yes, you are.
So, actually, a question that I do have for the people. When we were planning out this session, I
Yeah.
mentioned that because a lot of the videos that we've watched about things like this have been scripted, they sit down, they have a script, they film themselves. It's not like an open conversation.
Yeah.
How, in your opinion, did this information come across in a podcast format?
Yeah, is it concise enough?
Yeah, because we do obviously go off on tangents, and that's the point of podcasts.
I mean, yeah, that's sort of why you watch podcasts, isn't it?
Yeah.
You want to get like someone's like brain thought trail.
Yeah, you want to pick someone's brains.
Yeah, you want to you hear a topic, and then you brought something up in this session. What was it about? It was about
if someone's unhappy with a character.
Yeah, can you change that? We didn't write that down.
No,
that
no,
just
no.
happened. Because that's happened to you.
Yeah.
You played a character that you weren't happy with, and you wish that there was just.
I wish I had the conversation. I wish I was just honest.
Because your first DM would have been more than happy to do that.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, how does this information come across to you guys in this type of format?
Mm-hmm.
Because something that I was wanting to maybe explore is the idea of sit-down videos, more scripted. But at the same time, I really like this dynamic.
Yeah, that wouldn't replace this dynamic. The podcast is like
podcast is here to stay.
Yeah, the podcast is what we always wanted.
Friends
always wanted to do. But is there anything else that you would want to see from us?
Did you learn something in our very rambly way of saying it?
Yeah.
Let us know, please. Genuinely, if there's anything you can give us, just give us feedback on that. We'd appreciate that.
And I know every single the amount of comments that we get about our campaign.
Oh yes.
We've done a whole campaign, and we're about 20 sessions into a new campaign.
Yeah.
You all say that you want to hear it.
Yes.
So if there is enough demand,
then of course we will talk about
it. We will talk about it.
But
we're more than happy to talk about it. It's not something that we want to just keep behind closed doors.
No, of course not.
And we can talk about what we liked and what we didn't like, and how we would change things. Maybe.
Yeah, we're still very much at the beginning of all of this, and we don't really know what works best. And we obviously don't want to put out content that people just aren't interested in.
Yeah, they don't want to hear.
Yeah. So if you guys,
that seems to be something that people do want to hear.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna make the call out.
Yeah.
I'm calling you out.
Yeah. Oh.
If you want to hear about our campaign.
Yeah. Want to hear about the story so far?
Just say, tell me about your campaign, Jack. If it's this one or the old one, just tell me.
We're asking a lot, considering we're an hour and 40 minutes in. And this is at the end, and we've probably lost a lot of you guys. Yeah. Sorry.
If you want to watch, because I feel like we've had enough comments to say that you do want to hear it, because we get comments every video saying,
but we would
would
just like the actual confirmation and to see what the demand is, because again, you guys are amazing. You really care about us, and we really care about you.
Yeah.
And you want to know a lot about us, but we just want to make sure that it's not going to alienate other people if we do.
Yeah.
Basically.
And the campaign stuff, we aren't going to stop playing D&D. So
it's going to be up.
It's not something that you're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to release a story about our campaign every week.
Yeah,
but, we'll release one now, and then in 6 months we can do what's happened since then.
We can give you an update, exactly.
You know what I mean? If that's something that you want to hear, then we'll do it.
Exactly. So,
okay.
I think that just about does it.
That about does it for the podcast.
Yes, go on, say it.
For the what was that? I've forgotten it.
What, Squad Blasters?
Oh yeah, the Squad Blasters. That was it. I was like, the Pod Squad.
No, the Pod Squad.
The Squad Blasters.
Squad Blasters. We're not calling you
Squad Blasters out.
We're not calling you Squad Blasters.
Squad
That's
Blasters,
not our sign out.
If you do want, also another question we want to ask is, do you want to be called the Squad Blasters? If you want to be called the Squad Blasters, let us know.
No, right.
That'll about do it, Squad Blasters.
We're not calling them fucking squad monsters. We have been the Eldritch Podblast.
We definitely have.
If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe.
Hit the bell if you want to be notified when we upload videos. So you can be that person who says first in the comments.
So you can be the... No, we're not calling you squad blasters.
You can be the first squad blaster to comment.
No. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.